Welcome to the Haverford Sports Media broadcast of today's Elementary School 2022 track meet. This is Koi Nguyen and Connor Salveson coming to you live from A.G. Cornog Stadium. Connor, can you tell us a little bit about the tradition of this Haverford Township Elementary School track meet?
Yeah, of course. So this is actually, it's been going on for 39 years now as the format as it is now, but it started in 1982 between the Oakmont and Brookline elementary schools, neither of which exist to this day. And then just 2 years after that, in 1984, it became the big annual event that we see today. The past 2 years, due to the coronavirus pandemic and those restrictions, we have not been able to have the track meet. But the last one that happened just a couple of years ago, the Linwood Lions did take the win.
Yeah, so talk about a tradition in our district. Existing since 1982, that's a long time. But yeah, like you said, Connor, having not had this event for the past 2 years, the fifth graders here, I mean, this is a fourth and fifth grade event. The fifth graders here have not raced in this track meet before, so it's a first for everyone here today.
Yeah, and I've ran in this track meet before, back when I was in elementary school. It's a blast. I mean, you look forward to this event from once you start running club and once you start this practices. This is such a big event for some of these kids.
Yeah, I mean, I can really tell how excited all of these elementary schoolers are here today. Lots of people, families, friends. We have some high schoolers, members of the high school track team helping out. Yeah, just a really exciting environment here today.
Yeah, and it's perfect weather for a track meet. 75
Definitely.
degrees, slight breeze. You can't ask for much more than this.
Yeah.
We should be getting started underway on the track events as we see some of the runners warming up. The first track event is the 70-meter dash time trials. So each school has 2 fourth-grade boys, 2 fourth-grade girls, and the same goes to the fifth graders. That is the time trials. And then after the 600-meter run, there will be the finals for the 70-meter dash.
So the events we'll be seeing here today are the 70-meter dash, the 600-meter dash, and the 4x100 relay. Those are all of the track events, but then there will also be the softball throw and the standing long jump, which unfortunately we will not be covering here for Haverford Sports Media, but those will also be going on today.
Yeah, and if we get the results for that, we will be sure to tell you guys, but we will not be able to film that as we are focused on the track events here today.
Definitely, but there should definitely be a lot to cover within these just 3 track events between the boys and the girls and 2 grades. This will be exciting.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving event. I'm excited to get this underway as we see some of the time judges down there going over rules with some of the runners, and we see the softball and the broad jump athletes warming up. We should be getting underway very shortly. First race will be the 4th grade boys, I believe. Every event in the track meet today will go 4th grade and then 5th grade. And then for the relays, we have the 4x1 with the boys, and then the 4x1 with the girls, and then the co-ed 2 boys, 2 girls on the team, 4th and 5th grade. And that will get underway at the end of this meet.
Yeah, so the 4x1 will be the only event that is co-ed, and that also has, like you said, a boys and a girls separate events. But yeah, so for 70-meter dash, we'll start off with the 4th grade boys.
We will take a quick break and then get back to you guys shortly when the runners start to head over to the starting line.
All right, we are back for our first event. Looks like the fourth grade girls are lining up. This is fourth grade girls 70-meter dash.
We have 10 runners for the girls, fourth grade, 2 from each school, and soon enough we will be underway here.
So running for the Manoa Mustangs in the fourth grade girls 70-meter dash is Luigi Elmawafi and Kelsey Bianco. From Chestnut Wald, we have Sophie Lobrera and Sarah Camerdus. From Chatham Park, Rose Maloney and Lena Giordano. Linwood, we have Sophie Rich and Iman Mansare. And from Coopertown, Amelia Rodriguez and Venla Wood.
We have the judges confirming that they are ready, and on the command, they are off. The first race of this 2022 elementary school track meet, Manoa way out in front, Coopertown just behind, running through the final stretch.
Yeah, and that was Manoa with the easy lead. Excellent performance from the start for Manoa.
Strong race to open it up. Really fast out of the gate. There was 2 or 3 people out in front and a couple more trailing behind, but a good event, very competitive event just to start it off there.
And already we have our second heat of the fourth grade girls lining up for their turn at the 70-meter dash.
We have Manoa in lane 1, Chestnut Wald in lane 2, Linwood in lane 3, Chatham in lane 4, and Coopertown in lane 5. Judges just waiting to clear off that finish line area. And once that is all clear and they get the go-ahead, this second 70-meter dash for the fourth grade girls will be underway.
Runners getting set. And they're off. Manoa again off to a lead. Oh, but it looks like Linwood is challenging that, and Linwood takes the lead now. Oh, and wow, and Chatham Park came up from behind too. That was a close one.
Great comeback there early from Linwood, taking over and cutting that Manoa lead early, and Chatham came up there in the end. Unofficial time around 10:76, close to 10 seconds and close to 11 seconds there for the second heat of the 70-meter dash. Good piece of running there all around.
Yeah, so already a great start for Manoa in those first two races.
And just to clarify, any times that we have are unofficial. The track meet this year is not using the mile split program, so any of the times are hand timed by some of our HSM representatives. So the times that we share are not official times.
Here we have the 5th grade boys lining up for the first heat of the 70-meter dash.
Chatham Park in lane 1. Looks like Manoa in lane 2. Coopertown in lane 3. Chestnut in lane 4. And in lane 5 is Linwood.
Runners are off. It's pretty close here.
Close.
Oh, but Manoa taking the lead, trailed by Chestnut. Wow, another close one. Manoa and Chestnut seem to be the two leading the pack, but that was all 5 runners were really close together on that one.
I do believe Manoa pulled that one off. Unofficial time around 10:80. Great race there, very competitive. 3 or 4 runners all very close to getting that first place spot. Again, this is only the time trial, so after the time trials go by, we will have the official final race with the fastest runners for each school competing.
Second heat for the 5th grade boys. I'm sorry, the 4th grade boys is now lining up.
And as we get the official results from down on the field, when they get called up to the booth, we will share them as we get them. They're off. Quick start there. Chatham Park and Manoa racing at it again. That's going to be Chatham Park in lane 3, pulling ahead. Chatham Park down the stretch. I believe the Chatham Park Bulldogs are going to win that time trial. Great race there by the Bulldogs.
Definitely. Looks like we had Chestnut coming in second there. But, wow, Chatham really pulling away midway through that.
Yeah, it seemed close the first 20, 25 meters there, but as soon as we got down to around 50, Chatham just pulled away. No one near the front besides the Chatham Park Bulldogs in that heat.
So far, Connor, it seems like we've had a few different schools win some events here. It hasn't seemed to be like a single school dominating so far. We'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I mean, the past years, looking back at the 39 years or so, Chatham and Linwood have really ruled this track meet. We saw a couple Chestnut from what I remember. But so far, it seems like Manoa, Chatham, Chestnut, all 3 of those schools are really competing here. As this race is off, Manoa way out in front. The other 3 schools trailing behind. Manoa is going to finish that one in first place, just like we were saying. Manoa, a strong start for the Mustangs so far.
Yeah, that was no question about that one. Manoa had that one in the bag pretty early on. And that was the first heat of the 5th grade girls, still in the 70-meter dash. Heat 2 for 5th grade girls is lining up now.
See if Manoa can keep that streak going here as we go into the second heat of the 5th grade girls.
So talking about who has and hasn't won events so far, I feel like Coopertown has kind of been left out so far.
Yeah, Coopertown due up for one soon. I got to imagine whether it's this time trial or maybe one of the boys, Coopertown's got to have a winner somewhere in here.
And they're off. This is a close one, but... Oh, Coopertown, there we go. Just as we say it, Coopertown will win that event.
Yeah, Coopertown was definitely due up for one. A couple races just went by without a win, but there's Coopertown's first time trial win. A huge lead there. No one really close to her in first place.
Yeah, it seems like we kind of predicted that, right? When we said Coopertown hadn't really won any. There we go. So that concludes the girls' 70-meter dash. We now move on to 5th grade boys. Again, we'll have 2 heats. Heat 1 for the 5th grade boys have not lined up yet, so we might have a slight delay here.
Yeah, a little delayed here getting onto the line, but they're getting out there, getting set now, and this 5th grade boys Heat 1 will be on the way. Manoa in lane 1, Linwood in 2, Chatham in 3. That is Coopertown in 4. And, of course, in lane 5, Chestnut.
Runners are off. Manoa and Linwood. Oh, Linwood now taking the lead. Coopertown taking the lead now. And Coopertown will win that.
I think that was Coopertown Chatham. Chatham Park came in late there at the end. But just as we were saying, Coopertown now back-to-back on these 5th grade 70-meter dash time trials.
Yeah, so now it seems to be more even throughout these 5 schools in terms of how many races each school has won.
Yeah, definitely starting to even out on the time trials here. So it looks like it's going to be very competitive now once we get to the final round after the 600. When they take the top, it should be very even on which schools have what runners in the final race.
Yeah, I'd agree. And now we have the second heat of the 5th grade boys, and this is the final 70-meter dash that we will see today. I'm sorry, the final 70-meter time trial. And then, like Connor's been saying, we'll be back with the finals. So Manoa taking a strong lead. Oh, wow. This is the biggest lead we've seen all day.
Wow. Huge strides there in front by Manoa. That was just an insane run. That kid is the future of the high school track team. Wow. Strong race there by Manoa.
Wow, yeah, I think the Haverford track coaches over here taking notes on him. That was incredible.
What a way to finish off the time trials. And that should conclude the 70-meter time trials here, as they will soon call down the 600-meter dash, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, but that is such a hard race to run. You have to decide, do you sprint, when do you jog? It's a really hard race to pace yourself in, so we'll talk a little bit more about how to approach that race as we get on.
Yeah, the 600-meter dash is the longest distance event that we will see today. The others being the 70-meter and the 4x1. So schools will probably be putting their better, longer distance runners on this event.
Yeah, but just looking back over those time trials, I think it's safe to say it was pretty even. It seemed Manoa was definitely the front runner there in a couple of those races, I should say. We saw Coopertown get too late. Chatham took 1 or 2. I really think the schools in the back, not usual, but it seemed Linwood didn't win as many as usual. And Chestnut, again, near the back of those time trials, but we'll see what happens once they get into the finals when it truly matters.
Yeah, about Linwood, that is pretty surprising, at least for Connor and myself. When we were in elementary school, Linwood was always the dominant school every year. I believe they also won the last track meet in 2019. Like we said, there was no meet in 2020 or 2021. So a little bit surprising maybe that Linwood hasn't come out too strong, but they still have time to turn things around.
As we look out onto the field, we can see just some more preliminary action on the softball toss and the broad jump. We won't get results for them until a little bit later, but just good to see those athletes out there putting the work in and getting it done.
Any track events right now as we prepare for the 600-meter dash or 600-meter. Yeah, lots of exciting field events going on.
We see some of the high school track team members out there helping with measuring the softball, helping with the broad jump. Um, a lot of those runners came from here. This is where they started. This is their opening. So I think it's safe to say that this elementary school track meet opens doors for a lot of potential high school track and field runners.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely looking up to these high schoolers here, high school track runners, and maybe someday they'll join the high school track team, probably. So that's probably exciting for them. So with the 600-meter run, we now will have results for the 70-meter dash.
These are the top three runners that I'm announcing now, and then we'll go from there. So then we also have, for the girls' fourth grade as well, top three. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. We have Emma Koch from Linwood, Mia Pranesi from Manoa, and Rose Maloney from Chatham Park.
Just heard some results there from the booth next to us. We saw Manoa, Coopertown, and Chestnutwald take the top 3 spots for the 4th grade girls. And for the 5th grade girls, we see Linwood, Manoa, and Chatham Park as the top 3.
All right, we are back. So we just got some results for the 70-meter dash. So for the girls' fourth grade, looks like Sarah Kimdersey for Chestnut Wald won with a time of, I'm sorry, Layla Carter for Manoa won with a time of 10:15. That was girls' fourth grade. For the other girls' fourth grade race, Emma Coach of Linwood won with a time of 10:94.
And the fourth grade boys, the first race we saw Antonio Urban, Manoa in first place, Oliver Green in second place for Chestnut and in third place, CJ Lynch for Chatham Park. And in the second heat of the boys' fourth grade 70-meter dash, we saw Giacomo Commerci, Chatham Park, in first place. In second place, we saw Daily Eagles for Chestnut and in third place, Joey Rabley from Manoa.
For girls' fifth grade, Sophia Scancelli of Coopertown won with a time of 10:15. And in the other heat, we have Layla Joseph of Manoa, who won with a time of 10:53.
And in the 70-meter boys' fifth grade first heat, we saw Amaf Omi from Manoa with a strong time of 8:81 first place, followed by Gavin Wagner in second place for Chatham Park, and in third place, James Cavanaugh from Coopertown. And then the second heat of the 70-meter boys' fifth grade, we saw first place Connor Kraus from Coopertown, second place Dylan Hubley from Chatham Park, and in third place Aiden Odgers from Linwood Elementary School. So those top three runners will be heading to the final after this 600-meter dash, as we see a huge throw across the field in the softball toss.
Looks like our runners for the 600-meter are getting ready.
Still getting confirmation on how the format of this is, whether it's boys and girls together, fourth and fifth grade together. But as we get that information, we will share that with you.
I believe, Connor, we will have 2 heats within each grade, within each gender, similar to the 70-meter dash. But we will see.
And if I remember correctly, you have the runners in the front of the pack are the athletes, the runners that the coaches nominate to count for the points, and then anyone else who wants to run the 600 can go along in the back and just enjoy the race. So we will see some players, some athletes in the front, and those will be the ones who actually count for their school's score.
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of runners lining up here getting ready. This is exciting. Looking around on the bleachers here, it seems like all of the elementary schoolers have just disappeared. I think they're all over there getting ready for the 600.
Yeah, it's so much fun just being out there with a bunch of your classmates, a bunch of your friends, and just running the race, meeting some new people while you're out there. It's just a blast. Such a fun time.
Yeah, and this is these student athletes, their only meet of the season, of the year, so this is something they've been looking forward to for a while.
Yeah, unlike the high school and even the middle school level where you have invitationals and you have normal track meets, you got one shot. It's all they get. They got to put it all out on the line.
Yeah, I think it makes it that much more exciting. I mean, when it's so rare, when there's just one a year, and I mean, like we've said, there hasn't been one for the past 2 years, so yeah, really exciting for them.
As they are finishing warming up and gathering everyone together back there behind the field goal, the goalpost, I should say, we will get this first heat started underway. And we just got results for the standing broad jump in the 4th grade boys. As we see them get 3 attempts each, and their highest score will be the one that counts for the points and for their actual school. First place for the 4th grade boys, standing broad jump, we have Christian Leon, Manoa. Second place, we have Quinn McGoldrick, Chestnut. And in third place, we have Cooper Ishmael from Chatham Park.
For the 4th grade girls standing broad jump, first place was Cece Milo of Coopertown, followed by Danae Tracy of Chestnut, and then Olivia Guzman of Coopertown. I'm sorry, of Chatham Park. Guzman is Chatham Park.
And just to clarify, we see first place get 10 points for their school, second place 9 points, and so on. So that's actually how the point system works. First place gets a certain amount and down the line. As we see, the 600-meter dash, heat number 1 is off. Manoa out in front, Coopertown right behind, Chestnut sitting confidently in third place, trying to pace themselves around this first end.
Lots of runners in this event, as we expected. Runners are beginning to spread out a little bit.
Got to keep the pace around these turns here.
Chestnut now with the lead. Manoa following as a close second. Looks like now we have Manoa in first.
Manoa and Chestnut battling it out for first and second. Third place, I believe, is Chatham right behind them. Coopertown sitting there in fourth. Every point matters in this point at this point in the race, as we see Chatham now pass into the second place position. Going to try to kick it in for the last 170 meters here. Coopertown now coming in from fourth place, trying to close that gap. Coopertown kicking it in, and they're going to pass Chatham, and they're going to pass Manoa in front. It's Coopertown in first, Chatham Park in second, Manoa in third. Chatham Park trying to take the lead. Chatham Park sprinting
Closing
on the right
in.
side. Chatham, Coopertown, step by step, foot by foot, all the way in, I believe. Coopertown has it in first, Chatham Park in second. Chestnut in third, Coopertown, another Coopertown, and then we see Manoa finally finished there.
Wow, that was unexpected. I mean, in those throughout the entire race, really, it did not look like Coopertown was a close contestant, but wow, there you go.
Coopertown finished, I'd say, with 3 of those top 6, top 7 runners there. Chatham Park, a good comeback. About halfway through, we saw them sitting there in third, fourth place territory, but we saw them come back and take that second place in that first heat. A very competitive heat, as we see some more runners finishing up here, finishing strong in the last 60 meters of running.
Yeah, with Chatham Park in second, I mean, even that was somewhat unexpected. It really looked like Manoa and Chestnut were the two main competitors there for first and second, but those 2 runners did not finish in first or second. It was Coopertown and Chatham Park.
We see the last of the runners finishing up here. Great to see all of the runners finishing strong with a smile on their faces. The crowd cheering them on. This is just great to see. As the first heat of the 600 wraps up, we did just get the results from the 4th grade girls softball throw. In first place from Chatham Park, we have Ella Augelli. In second place from Manoa, Ava Carter. And in third place from Coopertown Elementary School, Addie Piantorino. And I believe that was the last runner of the first heat of the 600. A very good race out in front. A lot of lead changes there up
Definitely.
in the gold through bronze medal range up front.
Yeah, so as Coopertown seals that victory, the first heat of the 600-meter girls, Coopertown now has a good share of first place wins today. I still feel like Linwood hasn't really had too many, hasn't really been up there too much.
Yeah, definitely not what I personally expected coming into this. I expected this to be like the past years that I've participated in and what I've seen and experienced, but not the case so far in this one.
But earlier, I guess when we said Coopertown hadn't won any, then they went on to win the next two. So who knows? Maybe Linwood will take this one.
Yeah, right now I'd say probably Coopertown and Chatham, Coopertown and Manoa. I'd say those three schools definitely up there fighting for that number one spot. And we cannot forget about the field events. Those are also crucial to racking up these points as we go on.
Yeah, I'd put Manoa up there, especially, well, not that it counts for more, but that huge win by the fifth grade boy for Manoa in the 70-meter dash. I believe that was Anaf Omi.
Yeah,
that was a huge win.
We'll see if he can keep that momentum going forward in the finals. But if he can keep that, he was around an 8.88, I believe, was his final unofficial score. So, I mean, if he can keep that up, that's pretty much an automatic. We didn't see anyone else close to that number. So that was a strong outing by him, and that is a huge race for the Manoa Mustangs.
And the next runners are off for the 600-meter run.
Just as we were saying, Manoa, they're cutting in the lane one early, followed by Linwood, Chatham Park right behind. Coopertown, it looks like we have one representative from each school really up front there trying to make it count for their school. Around this curve here, we'll see what these runners can do as they advance into this one.
Yeah, so far, Connor, it seems to be pretty even in terms of the schools.
Linwood way out in front now. We have Coopertown and Chatham Park. That's Caden Casey for Chatham Park closing into that second place spot. And Casey's going to try to push up and get past that Linwood runner and take the first place prize here. As he is going to do that now, he's going to kick it in. Linwood looks at him. Step by step, stride by stride, Casey's going to pass him and take first place as they try to finish out the final 200 meters. Linwood, second place, Coopertown right behind.
Chatham expanding the lead. Chatham Park in first, Linwood in second, Coopertown in third.
We'll see if Casey can keep this buffer here as he comes into the final 80 meters or so. Followed closely behind by Linwood, but I think Chatham Park has it in first place.
Yeah, looks like they've got this one in the bag. Linwood in second. Oh, and Manoa is making a move for second. And Manoa passes Linwood.
Comes out of nowhere. Manoa now getting closely. That is going to be really close. I think Linwood might have gotten in at the end there, but a huge comeback by Manoa as Coopertown finishes in fourth. And the rest of the runners follow. A huge race there for Chatham Park and Manoa, both adding more points to their respected tallies.
Yeah, that was, talk about a come from behind for second place. Although I'm still not exactly sure if Manoa was able to close out that second place spot.
Yeah, Chatham Park in first place, and then we saw really close between Linwood and Manoa there for the second and third place spots in this second heat. As we get the official results, we will, of course, tell them to you guys so you guys can support your schools.
Last runners finishing up here for the 600 meter.
And as this second heat of the 600 meter closes out, we did just get the results from the boys softball throw, fourth grade. So the fourth grade boys softball, first place from Chestnutwold, Jojo Petucci. Second place, also from Chestnutwold, Francis Owens. Strong showing by the Phoenix there, taking the top 2 spots. And in third place from Manoa Elementary School, Lucas Carroll. As we see the last few of the 600-meter run finish out here. And then after the 600 heats finish up, we will have the 70-meter dash finals, which I'm so excited to see. We'll see if Omi from Manoa can keep what he had going for him. But we also saw a lot of other runners with strong performances. So we'll see if they can try to catch up to Omi and Manoa.
So as you can probably hear here and see, I definitely feel like Coopertown is showing a lot of school spirit here. Getting really excited for their teammates and their friends. We love to see it.
Yeah, Coopertown right in front of the booth here. Definitely the loudest elementary school we've seen so far and what we've heard so far today. We just got the results for the 600-meter run. The 4th grade girls. In first place from Coopertown, we have Bailey Kay. In second place from Chatham Park, we have Karina C. And in third place from Chestnut Elementary School, we have Klain M. And the third heat here for the 600-meter dash is getting lined up, and they will be underway shortly. We just saw Chatham with a big win there. We'll see if the Bulldogs can keep that momentum going forward as the gun is fired and the runners are off around this first curve. Manoa, strong start out of the gate. Manoa in first and third. Chestnut right behind. We see Manoa looks creeping up on that second spot. You have 2 Manoas in front, 2 runners from Chestnut right behind. Coopertown sitting there in 5th place. Chatham in 6th. See what they can do around the second bend here. They try to expand their lead out in front.
Yeah, Manoa and Chestnut definitely dominating early on. It also looks like there are no runners from Linwood in this heat.
Yeah, it looks like there's no official runners who will count for their score in this heat. But we see strong performances here by Manoa, taking the first spot by around 10 meters, 20 meters, I'd say. Right behind them in second place, we see Manoa just now taking over that second place spot over a fellow Manoa runner. Manoa out in front, and Chestnut in third place getting passed by 2 runners now. Chatham and Coopertown nowhere to be seen up in the front of this pack.
Chestnut, though, looking to make a comeback. Manoa still in first, but the lead is shrinking.
Taking it all the way to the end, giving it everything you got. We see Chestnut pushing it in these final 70 meters. We'll see if the Phoenix can finish it out. And
Chestnut really closing in.
And it looks like she is going to pass for first place. Chestnut, a huge comeback over the Manoa Mustangs.
Wow, I did not see that coming. It really looked like Manoa had that in the bag. That was such a huge lead, but Chestnut just came out of nowhere.
Manoa probably had close to 20 meters, I'd say, around the second curve there. I think they just went out too heavy to start. And then we just saw Chestnut try to kick it in at the end, and exactly what they wanted to do. A huge comeback for the Chestnut Phoenix.
Yeah, incredible pacing by Chestnut there. I mean, the 600 meters is such a difficult event to run. I mean, like you were saying earlier, Connor, it's a question of, do you sprint? How hard do you go at the beginning, in the middle, at the end? Chestnut really just timed that perfectly.
Yeah, it's such a hard race to pace yourself, too. It's in between a sprint and it's in between a long distance. Most people count long distance starting at the 800 to the 1600. And most people really stop the sprinting at the 200. Even some people consider the 400 a sprint. And this is right in between it all, especially for 4th and 5th grade student athletes to run. It's a very tough race. And the official results for the boys' 4th grade 600-meter dash are officially in. In first place from Chatham Park Elementary School, Caden Casey. Second place from Manoa Elementary School, Owen Barnes. So there is the official ruling there. They said Manoa did keep that lead all the way in through the end. And, of course, right behind Owen Barnes in second is Linwood's Matt Mullen in third place. It's got to be one of the best races we've seen so far today. It was a lot of really close at the end for that fourth grade boys.
Yeah, that was definitely an exciting finish. As the last of the girls' 600 runners will finish out the final, I believe the final 600 race we will see today is getting set up.
I believe this is the fifth grade boys' second heat of the fifth graders. So we'll see what these boys can do for their schools. I really have no idea who's in the lead right now. I think it's really close up at the top. I think we could probably guess there's 2 to 3 schools who are definitely up there contending. But I don't think there's in no way a clear winner like in some of the past years where one school has won almost all of the events. So a very competitive track meet so far this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we said before, I feel like it's probably maybe between Manoa, Coopertown, and then what did we say, maybe Chatham Park? Or
Yeah, I think Chatham's fighting up there for the top 3 spot. We saw a big race there by Caden Casey to get 10 points for the Bulldogs in that fourth grade 600-meter run. Chatham's definitely the team that needs to get points soon if they want to truly contend for those top 2 spots as the last race is underway.
as we come out of the first turn, Manoa has the lead with Chatham Park in second, Linwood in third.
Too close to see what this one's going to be as they go around the first turn here, or the second turn. We'll see if a comeback can be made by Chatham Park. I believe that is Jake Ely there, now dropping back to third place as we see Chestnut really pushing it in, trying to take over that first place spot. And it looks like we have one from each school there in the top 5. Something that you love to see competition-wise. Chestnut, Manoa, Coopertown up there fighting for the top 3. Linwood right behind. And Coopertown in 5th. So Chatham dropped out of the top 5. We see Jake Ely sitting there in 6th place as they got to kick it in these final 200 meters. Coopertown, a big, not big, but a significant lead here. But we saw bigger things happen.
Yeah, definitely expanding that lead right there. But like we've learned, Connor, no lead is safe, even at this point in the race.
Yeah, we've definitely seen bigger comebacks than this happen. Coopertown's trying to kick it in these final 60 meters. Linwood not giving up hope quite yet. They're still trying to get that first place spot. But it does look like Coopertown will be 1. Linwood in 2nd. Coopertown trying to get that 3rd spot, but I believe that will go to Chestnut. Coopertown in 4th. Manoa will get that 5th place spot. A huge race for both Manoa and Chestnut. And not the result that the Chatham Park Bulldogs wanted there. You had Jake Ely and Owen Connolly both racing in there, but neither one of them could quite catch up to those top 3, top 6 spots there. So not the race that the Chatham Park wanted, but certainly something that they can make up, especially as we see the 70-meter dash finals coming up.
You might notice some bias there. As you can tell, Connor went to Chatham Park. I, as a Coopertown alum, am happy to see Coopertown take first place there. But regardless, definitely an exciting race there. I wasn't sure if Coopertown would be able to hold it out because, like we said, we've seen a few comebacks today, but Coopertown was able to sustain that lead and finish it out strong.
We also saw a big second place there by I believe it was Linwood. So much needed for the Lions. They were really starting to look like they were trailing behind in this. But I think with that, they could have passed Chatham Park. From what I'm guessing, of course, we do not have any of the official numbers. As we get them, we will share them. But if I were to guess, I would guess Linwood's getting up there with Chatham after that huge second heat of the boys 600-meter dash.
Yeah, so still not a first place win for Linwood. We haven't seen that in a little while, but still a second place is refreshing for them, I'm sure.
70-meter finals, fifth grade girls, please report. Gabby Stearns, Anani Diaz.
So now, as that was the conclusion of the 600-meter run, we will now return to the 70-meter dash for the finals.
70-meter finals, fifth grade boys, please report. Gavin Wagner, Dylan Hobley, and Afnami.
So like we said, these finals were determined by how the runners did earlier in the 70-meter time trials. I believe it was the top 3 of each grade and of each gender that qualified for the finals, which we will see shortly. So we just got our results for the 5th grade girls 600-meter run. Margie Cloran of Chestnut-Wald won this with a time of 1:47, followed by Ellie Boyle from Manoa with a time of 1:47.94.
And the first heat of the finals for the 70-meter dash are off. Manoa in first, a close for second place. Cannot tell yet, but Manoa looks like it's going to get first place in this first heat.
Yeah, that was a pretty strong lead there for Manoa, pretty much from the start. I guess that's part of the 70-meter dash. There's not really much time for a comeback, but yeah, strong sustained lead from Manoa there.
Fourth grade boys, I believe, are now up as they clear out the finish line. Just adding more and more points on there for Manoa. Manoa seems to be what I would say probably the favorite. Manoa and Coopertown right now. Linwood and Chatham Park and Chestnutwood too. All three of them are really fighting for that third place spot. So all of them have to show up here in these 70-meter finals.
And the runners are off. Chatham Park taking a strong lead here, followed by Manoa, close second.
Chatham and Manoa. Looks like two Chathams and Manoa there finishing in the top three. A huge race there for Chatham Park. If the official times come back as Chatham getting that second and third spot, that is a huge, huge race for Chatham Park. But Manoa just keeps on getting these first place victories, and we still haven't seen Omi with the fifth grade boys.
Fifth grade girls lining up now for their 70-meter finals.
Another huge race by Manoa, as we said. They just cannot seem to get out of that first place spot. They've just been taking over these races down the stretch and just keeping consistent in winning.
Looks like we have a slight delay here for the fifth grade girls race.
For this heat here, we have Linwood in lane 1, Manoa in lane 2, Coopertown in lane 3, Manoa in lane 4, and Chatham Park in lane 5. And lane 6 is Chestnutwood. Because as we know, it is the top three in each heat, so it's not an even number of schools, but the girls are off. Manoa and Coopertown battling it out stride by stride down the 70 meters.
Another first place win for Manoa, it looks like. Very close second, though, by Coopertown.
Great race again by those two schools. Seem to be pulling away with it here down the stretch.
Yeah, and speaking of Manoa dominating, as the fifth grade boys line up for their turn at the 70-meter finals, here we have Anaf Omi, who raced earlier and got that incredible time of around 8 seconds. I mean, my prediction is that he'll win this race handily, but then again, you never know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting too. I'm expecting him to run almost the same race. See, in lanes 1 and 2, we have Chatham Park, as Quay just said. Lane 3, we have Manoa. Lane 4, we have Coopertown. Lane 5, we have Linwood. And lane 1, sorry, in lane 6, I believe, that is Coopertown.
And Chestnut Wall. Second, we have 3 to see Chatham Park. And first, we have Bailey K. Coopertown.
Coopertown still showing some strong school spirit, supporting their teammates.
And this final heat of the 70-meter dash final is underway. Omi out in front again by so many strides. He is just destroying the competition. Coopertown in second place. Another race with a finish of Manoa and Coopertown. That result just keeps coming up. It's a reoccurring theme here with these races with Manoa. The
So we are back. The 4x100 meter relay should be starting shortly. Just a reminder, for this event, we will have the boys racing, then we will have the girls racing, and then we will have a co-ed race. So a lot of parts to this, and obviously within each of those three segments, there will be a fourth grade race and a fifth grade race.
And before we get into the relays, we got the results from the fifth grade boys softball throw. In first place from Chatham Park, Ryan Kocher. Behind him in second place from Coopertown was Micah Foster. And in third place from Manoa Elementary School was Nicholas Boseman. Much needed points for Chatham Park there, not to be biased, but we saw them fall behind here in the past couple of races. So them and Linwood both needed points, and we saw Chatham get it in the fifth grade boys softball throw.
So the teams are meeting on the field here to get ready for the relays. This is the third and final event that we will see today, but like we said before, there's a lot of parts to this event.
Looks like it's fourth grade girls to start it off from the looks of it. Confirming the rules with some of the high school track team members and some of the line officials down there before they get sent off onto the track to compete in the 4x1. Relays are always a favorite of mine, both to watch and to actually run in. I ran this same event when I was in fifth grade. I've ran relays. In middle school track, I did a couple of 4x1s. And I love watching them, too. It's such an entertaining race to see with the handoffs. There's so many lead changes. It's like you're watching a full-on movie out there. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the handoff adds like another, there's another element to the race. It's not just the running. It's a little more complex than the other two events we saw today. So, yeah, I think that makes it more exciting.
Yeah, it's not just four people running 100 meters. It's the relays, but you have to make sure that you take into consideration when practicing, and especially when you're thinking about time, as we see the runners go out to their respective positions. Excited to see what the anchors can do here. Usually that's some of the faster runners on each of the teams trying to close it out strong for their schools. We see in a couple of races, we'll have the fifth grade boys. We see Anhaf Omi again for Manoa in the anchor positions. I'm super excited to see that one. Looking forward to that. But right now, we got the fourth grade girls going out there getting set for this 4x100 meter relay.
So this is a sprint, obviously, much like the 700 meter. I mean, more of a sprint, less of a distance. So we see a lot of the same runners who raced in the 70 meter dash earlier today.
Yeah, definitely some of your top performing runners here, your fastest sprinters out there in this first heat, trying to just get points on the board for your school early in this relay section of the track meet. The runners are all set here, ready to start off the 4x100 relay. We see the second leg runners getting set up at the top right of your screen. Third leg runners are all set, and the anchors are all ready in the bottom left of the track. And on the command, the first heat of this 4x100 relay will be underway. Coopertown and Lane 1 obviously have the advantage around the curves, but they are starting the furthest back. I personally always liked starting up in Lane 6. Even though I have the longest turn, I felt a confidence booster. Just having that early lead kept me going back when I ran track in the middle school.
Yeah, so I mean, there's pros and cons to whatever lane you're in, but I mean, as you can see, the farthest lane starts out with the biggest head start, but it's designed obviously to even out in the end.
Yep, all the teams are truly running 400 meters combined as the official gets ready, and this 4x100 Heat 1 is underway.
As we approach the handoff, we see some handoffs have taken place.
Good handoff by Manoa. Manoa keeping that first place lead as we go around this second leg, but big comeback here by Chesterwald, taking over that first place spot.
Chesterwald just flew in there, building on their lead. Wow.
Linwood sitting there in third place, trying to catch up here to to Manoa. We'll see if Linwood can do that. To Manoa now. Linwood trying to get around this turn, taking the lead into the final handoff. See Coopertown, Manoa, Chatham Park way back.
The final handoff begins to take place, and the anchors head for the finish line.
Chestnut, big lead here. We'll see if the anchor can keep it up. She's going to have a pretty solid lead here. She is going to come up the final stretch, followed by Manoa, Coopertown, and Linwood. All four of those schools with leaders up front. And looks like Chestnut and Chatham Park will finish back in the final two spots. A pretty strong first relay race we saw there between these five schools.
Yeah, definitely. So Chestnut finished in first there. I would say I have to give credit to I believe it was the second leg runner of Chestnut Wald. Let's see, I believe that was Lizzie Bodor. She just came flying out of nowhere, and I think that leg was the leg that put Chestnut Wald ahead, and they were able to sustain it from there.
Yeah, we saw all of a sudden, second, third leg, that they just started to take over, and they finished strong, and it's all you can really do.
So moving on now, we have the fifth grade 4x100 meter relay. Runners are lining up now.
Making sure the track is clear before the officials send them on their way. But soon enough, this second heat of the 4x100 meter relay should be underway.
We have Nia Pernici Manoa, and first we have Layla Carter Manoa.
Manoa showing a lot of school spirit out there on the field, hearing some of their teammates' names being called out here on the loudspeaker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's easier to show school spirit when you're dominating a track meet like Manoa is today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does really feel like Manoa. If we had to predict a winner right now or guess who is winning as of now, even though we don't have that information, I would have to guess Manoa.
And this first leg already over. Really fast first 100 meters as we see Coopertown way out in front on the second leg, followed by Manoa. Chatham Park in third place. Chestnut right behind Chatham. see if Coopertown could keep this lead into the third leg. A good handoff there. Successful, all three of these handoffs, as the third leg runners are on their way. Coopertown in first, significant lead. Chesterwood right behind. Linwood in third. Chatham and Chesterwood both coming in to take over Linwood's third place spot.
Meanwhile, we have another Manoa runner fly out of nowhere, and Manoa is in second. We are now in the final leg, and
Coopertown in lane 6 has the lead right now. She is going to try to keep it all the way in. Manoa falling right behind. Chatham Park in third, hoping to finally get some points up there for their school. It looks like it'll finish in that exact order. A good second heat of this 4x100 meter race.
yeah, very exciting there. It had been a little while maybe since Coopertown came in first, but they get themselves back on the board there.
It'll be interesting to see once we get the official results, some of the actual numbers. We'll see how some of these schools can compare to each other. And another heat here for the 4x100 meter relay is about to begin. On the official's command here in just a couple of minutes, this heat will be off and ready to go. A couple of competitive ones here through the first two we've seen. Very close in first and second. Even third was a couple of close races as we went on. Official clarifying some rules with some of the runners out there on the track, making sure everything is all clear and set. Second leg runners, third leg runners, and the anchors all are ready to go. The ear muffs are on, and the gun is ready to fire.
And the runners are off. Hard to say for now who's actually winning, because obviously, lane 6 starts with that. Starts in front in terms of the distance.
We really get to see a good idea of who's going to be the top three as we get midway through the second leg, hand off into the third, and all the way through the third and into the anchor run. We really get a good sense of who's actually going to win this thing. But we see Coopertown an early lead here, followed by Linwood. Ooh, tough handoff there for Coopertown. Linwood's going to take the lead there after a slight botched handoff. Manoa and Chatham Park right behind, fighting for that third spot.
Linwood's third leg runner really expanding on their lead. Let's see if Linwood can get a first place, which we have not seen in quite a while.
Yeah, Linwood definitely trying to execute off that messed up handoff there. They took over the first place spot, and she is just running.
Oh, wow. Linwood's anchor really just securing it for them. And Linwood will take first with an enormous lead. Meanwhile, Manoa steals second. I'm sorry, that is Manoa. Yes, Manoa secures second. Chatham Park in third. Much needed first place victory for Linwood there. Very exciting for the Lions.
Definitely tough to see sometimes. We see Linwood wearing the maroon, dark purplish jerseys. Chatham Park and Coopertown Elementary both wearing red and white. And Manoa and Chesterwood both wearing their blue uniforms.
So in terms of who seems to be winning this track meet so far, maybe with that first place win, Linwood is maybe still in the running, but it might take more than that. So we have another heat of the girls 4x100 lining up and ready to go.
Yep, these relay races definitely take a pretty big chunk of this actual track meet's time. A lot of heats, and it's a lot of entertaining races that we get to sit here, watch, and commentate for you guys. I believe this is the fourth heat now underway in this annual elementary school track meet. See what the schools can do. Manoa and Linwood out there in front, of course, with the biggest starting points in lanes 5 and 6.
This seems to be the co-ed meet, or I'm sorry, the co-ed race for the 4x100.
I believe that is Chestnut Wald up there in first place, followed by Coopertown, and in third place, Linwood. Nothing really close as of now. Trying to just tack on some points for their schools. Chestnut Wald successful. Great handoff there. Trying to just keep that first place, but Coopertown not going to give up. And we see Manoa coming around out of nowhere in lane 1, trying to keep it close for second place. Chestnut Wald taking first place pretty easily here, but Manoa is going to give them a run for their money. Manoa closing in.
And Chestnut Wald will maintain first place for that. Manoa in second.
Good race there by Manoa, coming out of nowhere in that third and fourth legs there, just kicking it in, trying to gain back some ground, and that's exactly what they did, exactly what they needed to do, to just keep adding on points and building up their resume. And another heat is on the way. Moving very quickly through these events. Looks like Chestnut Wald, Manoa in first place. Chestnut Wald trying to keep that second place, but Manoa is going to take the first and second place spots here as they go around this second straight stretch here.
Looks like Chestnut Wald in third there. First Manoa runner makes the handoff. Still Manoa in both first and second. Although now it looks like Chestnut Wald will take second.
Coopertown's going to beat out Manoa's third runner there, and they're going to take third, and she's going to be, or they'll be keeping it close for the second place. Interesting to see down the final stretch here what Coopertown can do. Manoa taking the easy first once again. No one behind her. She's going to take that all herself.
Oh, yeah, huge lead for Manoa. Coopertown in second. And Chestnut Wald will take third. So yet another victory from Manoa there. The Mustangs have really just been down.
Yeah, Manoa's done a great job so far. The depth of both the boys and the girls and the 4th and the 5th grade. A lot of talent all the way throughout their roster. Really talented lineup over at Manoa Elementary School.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, it does seem to be really all around. It's not just not just one event, not just one grade, not just one gender, but really everything. Manoa has had their fair share of. So the runners will now take their places for another 4x100 meter relay.
I believe after the relays, that's it. We'll get the results, but the relays will close out this meet. Still unsure who really has that first place. I think it's safe to say that Manoa definitely is up there. I would guess they were confidently sitting in first place as another 4x100 is underway. Coopertown in first. Chestnut looks in second around this first turn. We'll see if Chestnut can complete the handoff. They are, but a big push there by the second runner of Coopertown. Chestnut trying to catch up. 5 meters, I'd say, here of lead. Coopertown in lane 6. He's going to have a great handoff on the third leg, and he is just going to be pushing it with Manoa right behind. Linwood, Coopertown, Chatham in the back once again.
Yeah, Coopertown with a pretty strong lead completes the final handoff. Coopertown is now in the final stretch. And it's getting kind of close here.
Kind of really close. The two Coopertown teams butting up against each other. Chestnut right behind. And we see Chatham trying to get back on Linwood's tail, but it will finish with no huge changes there.
So there, Coopertown takes both first and second, with Chestnut in third.
Huge race there for Coopertown. Just adding on points, exactly what you need to do at this stage of the meet.
Definitely. I mean, it was a close call there, or not a close call, but it came pretty close in the final leg there, but it was between two Coopertown teams, so did not make a difference in terms of the scores.
And I believe we will be nearing the last couple of the co-ed races as we go on and dwindle down in this track meet here. Coach.
Next heat of runners have taken their spots.
And the runners are off in this 4x100 relay. No clear leaders as of now. Looks like Coopertown, Manoa out in front, couple Chestnut runners behind, and all of a sudden a huge lead here by, it seems, Coopertown, Manoa behind, Chestnut following in third place, but a huge second leg there for the Cougars of Coopertown.
Yeah, and after that second handoff, Coopertown is just expanding on their lead.
Linwood, third runner, absolutely giving it everything they have to offer. Gaining back some of that lead. Looks like this will be a close one down the end. It'll be a stride-by-stride battle. But it looks like Coopertown will just take it over the edge. He is just moving. He is gliding right now. No one in his space. Linwood will finish up in second. And Coopertown once again will take 2 of the top 3 spots as we see them finish up in third place in that heat.
So the second consecutive first place victory for the Coopertown Cougars. Tremendous race there by the Cougars. Their lead really started to show maybe towards the end of the second leg into the third, and they just built on it from there.
Seems all of a sudden Coopertown and Manoa are really the 2 front runners, and I don't think anyone else is really close. We saw Chestnut get a couple wins. Chatham Parks dropped. I could see them being in 5th place. Linwood still hanging on here, so still not sure if it's going to be Coopertown or Manoa from what we've seen so far today.
Yeah, and Coopertown is definitely one of the smaller schools in the district. So So pretty impressive that they've been able to do as well as they have today in this meet.
I believe as one of the final heats here will get underway. Still yet to see a really close one, neck and neck down the line. There's been some, comebacks here, comebacks there, but still yet to see one where it's really close, almost like a photo finish. Still looking to see one of them. Maybe we'll see it here as this heat is underway.
So as runners come out of the first turn, and it's too early to say who has the lead without taking into account the lane 6 advantage. But now Chestnutwold seems to be pulling away in leg 2.
It's always the second runners into the third leg handoffs, which really show how the course of the race is going. As we see here, just no one in the way of Chestnutwold out in front. Linwood sitting in second, but getting closely chased by Manoa, Chatham, Coopertown, all 5 schools fighting for the second place spot right now.
Yeah, but in terms of first, Chestnutwold really has this one in the bag as the anchor is only building on their lead.
Huge cheering from her teammates as we see Coopertown and Manoa fighting for that second place spot. I believe Coopertown did get that, followed by Manoa, and further proving how Coopertown and Manoa have been dominant, especially in this relay section.
Yes, I think the order of that was Chestnutwold, Coopertown, Manoa, but strong performance by all schools there.
Still something we need confirmation on is whether all of these count or just a couple of them count. Like what we saw with the 600, only certain runners actually counted for their school's score. So we're actually not 100% sure. I don't believe that all of these relays count towards the score for their school, but it's still bragging rights for some of these runners out here.
Definitely. It's an important factor.
Another 4x100 relay is out on the starting line, ready to get underway. Really curious to finally see the results once they come out. Not sure if we'll get them by the end of this stream, but they will be posted on our social medias, our Instagram and our Twitter after, so make sure to go check us out there as this final relay is underway. Chestnutwold and Coopertown up in front. Coopertown has a lead here going down the second stretch, second leg, going into the handoff. We'll see if Coopertown can keep this lead.
Chestnutwold has second, and Chatham Park, I believe, is in third.
Chatham Park in lane 1, trying to use that inside end of the curve to try to take over second place. We'll see if Chatham could do it. Looks like Chatham's neck and neck here for second, but now they're going to definitely take that second place spot going into the anchor.
Meanwhile, Coopertown pretty much solidifies their spot in first.
Coopertown easily finishing in first place. Chatham and Manoa fighting for that second place spot. Manoa is just going to run past Chatham's anchor. Chatham not going to get that second place spot that they wanted, but the Bulldogs will settle for third.
So yet another victory for Coopertown. I really feel like the past few have been all Coopertown. Earlier it seems like Manoa was dominating, maybe particularly in the 70-meter dash. But yeah, Coopertown definitely seems to be shifting the momentum here, maybe.
Yeah, and even if all these races don't actually count for points for their schools, they don't count for the final score, it definitely can change the momentum of how your team views and how they look at this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think the teammates of these runners definitely can feed off of the runners' energy, and I think it's all interconnected.
Unsure how many of these relays are left. They just seem to never end. Activity, running with their teammates, making friends. It's a great event that the school district puts on every year.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell how much fun these 4th and 5th graders are having. It's really, really cool to see. So as Connor mentioned earlier, we will be posting results and other updates on our social media today. So be sure to follow us at Haverford Sports Media on Instagram.
Coopertown first place here in lane 6 through the first 100 meters. Good handoff. It's a very successful handoff there. Coopertown's going to try to keep that lead as Chestnutwald's coming up the first lane here, trying to take over that first place, but Coopertown has a huge lead.
Not the first Coopertown lead like this we've seen today. Coopertown maintains their lead into this third leg. Chestnutwald still in second. Another Chestnutwald making a run for third.
Slowed down a little bit there on the handoff, but Coopertown and their anchor runner looks like they're just going to take it with ease once again. No one in their way. Coopertown is going to take another first place victory in these 4x100 relays, followed behind by 2 Chestnutwald teams. Manoa in the back with 2 more teams for the Mustangs.
So no runners from Linwood or Chatham Park in that heat. But again, another outstanding performance by Coopertown.
And another heat of this 4x100 relay is underway. Coopertown once again taking an early lead. Linwood following behind. Chatham Park in third. Good handoff there by Manoa in lane 2. And it looks like it'll be Coopertown and Linwood fighting. But Linwood's going to pull away here. Always the second leg where we really start to see the true colors of what this race is going to shake out to be. Linwood, a phenomenal handoff there, still with a big lead. Second place, just got the handoff there. It's Coopertown. Linwood trying to keep it strong through this third leg and into the final stretch.
Yeah, Linwood only building on their lead. Let's see if they can get another first place victory, which they have not had many of today. Entering the home stretch, it is still Linwood in first. Big lead, pretty much has this one in the bag. We see Coopertown in second and Chestnutwald in third.
Great race by Linwood there. Great handoffs. That's some of the best handoffs I've seen in the relay races today. Especially that third leg, so smooth, just allowing the runners just to keep on gliding without having to stop and start moving again.
Yeah, I agree. That's such a difficult part of relays in general. I mean, the teamwork and the communication that goes into that. But they've spent a lot of time practicing that, so it pays off.
Another heat underway here. Still unsure, some confusion up here in the booth where they really are in this race, but gotta be shortly here. But Coopertown, Manoa out there in front. Chesterwell trying to gain some ground here. They're in third place, kicking it in this second stretch.
We're going to go ahead and announce again the softball throw for the fifth grade boys.
Manoa in first, Chestnutwell a close second.
Chatham Park, it seems, took the third place spot from Coopertown there. Looks like if Chatham can keep this third place spot, Coopertown will finally go a race without someone in the top three, which is something that we have not seen a lot of in these relays. It's definitely not out of the picture for the Cougars to make a comeback.
So in the final stretch, we have Chestnutwald with a substantial lead, but Manoa in second, not giving up. Chatham Park in third. And it looks like we will pretty much finish in that order. Coopertown will end up in fourth.
Chatham finally gets themselves with a top three finish there. Been a while since we saw the Bulldogs finish up in the top three. And yet again, we see Coopertown and Manoa just finishing strong. But we saw Chestnutwald with the first place there.
This next heat is underway. Runners come out of the first turn, approach this first handoff. Great handoff by all teams there.
Further we go on in these heats, the better handoffs we start to see here.
Linwood with the lead as of now. Yeah, I mean, with the handoffs, I feel like we really haven't seen too many too many sloppy ones. We haven't seen any baton drops. So there's always that.
Yeah, I mean, but besides a couple, stop, hand it off, restart running, haven't really seen many butchered handoffs so far.
So we come into the final stretch here. Chestnutwold has the lead. Chestnutwold has a decent-sized lead there. Linwood in second. It is unclear who the runner in third is, as he does not have an official jersey.
Doesn't have his school jersey on, but a very fast kid there, finishing strong.
Yeah. And the boys 4x1 relay is underway. First handoff is now complete for all teams.
Looks like Manoa out there in first. A lot of blue jerseys out there in the top 4 spots. I think it's Manoa, Chestnutwold.
Or Chestnutwold, Manoa maybe, but yeah, lots of Manoa jerseys up there, and with the blue Chestnutwold, that makes it more confusing, but Manoa currently has the top 2 runners, followed by Chestnutwold in third.
See what they can do down the final stretch here. Manoa in first.
Oh, huge lead there for Manoa. Chestnutwold is now in second. And then 2 Manoas. One of them will take third.
Chatham Park finishing in here in 5th place. And Linwood trying to get there for 5th, but they will settle with 6th place.
So I feel like that race kind of represents this whole meet pretty well, with the exception of Coopertown. Coopertown was not present in that heat, but Manoa had lots of runners up there. Linwood was kind of in the back. Chestnutwold was up there. Chatham was towards the middle or back. That's pretty much how this meet has been going for the most part today.
Yeah, that race, I think, pretty much sums up how the exact results of this entire meet are going to end up looking as we wrap up here slowly.
The next heat is off.
Coopertown in first place here in, looks like lane 5 or lane 6. Fast second leg runner here for the Cougars, trying to keep that lead as Manoa is going to inch up on him slowly. Chatham Park in third, Linwood in 5th. Looks like Chatham in right behind Linwood.
Manoa has the lead coming out of that second handoff. Maybe Chatham Park in second. Linwood making a run for second, actually. And the Manoa anchor takes off. In this final stretch, it looks like it's pretty much going to be all Manoa.
The finish line is going to be flooded with blue jerseys here. But we see Coopertown, Linwood, Chatham all fighting to finish out. The higher, the better. Good, strong finish there by all of the elementary schools.
Yeah, and it seemed like Coopertown made a little bit of a comeback there for second.
Another heat is underway here. Still have no idea when this meet is going to end.
Coming out of the first handoff, Coopertown seems to be in the lead. But Manoa, yeah, right as I say that, Manoa passes Coopertown for first. Manoa in first, Coopertown in second. Runners enter the second handoff. Manoa still with the lead.
Manoa trying to keep that lead, but Linwood, Chatham, Coopertown all trying to catch up to get that second and third spot.
Yeah, it's pretty close here.
Linwood kicking it in the first lane here, trying to keep that. But Chatham Park coming in from behind, trying to finally get first place. The Bulldogs yet to win first place in a while. But we see Manoa in lane 6, but it will be Chatham Park. The Bulldogs finally take home first place in one of these 4x100 relays.
So that was a close one. So Chatham with the lead, or Chatham with first. Manoa, I think, came out in second. Linwood in third. That was one of the closest relays we've seen all day.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the most competitive relays we've seen so far.
Looks like here we will have another heat of the boys relay.
Still unsure up here in the booth when this is going to end. We see some girls lining up here to race next, so seems like we might have gotten a little bit out of order here, but we will keep you guys updated as we see. It looks like it's all Chatham Park in the front here, maybe a Coopertown.
Yeah, hard to tell with both schools wearing red, but whoever that is, that's a decent lead.
Does look like Chatham. Coopertown has numbers on the back of their jerseys, and from what we see, all the first 3 runners do not have numbers, but we see Manoa not letting Chatham take all top 3 spots as they're going to try to rush in here and take second from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, wow, this third leg runner for Manoa really turned things around. But first place is still unquestionably Chatham Park.
Chatham taking first, but Manoa coming back from that 4th place deficit to take second place here, followed by Chatham Park in third, was a pretty strong performance.
Yeah, excellent race there for Chatham. But talk about a comeback for Manoa, particularly from their third leg runner. And they ended up in second.
Another 4x100 race is underway here at the AG Cornog track in Haverford, Pennsylvania. Cooling down a little bit here as we go later on in the night, as we see Manoa Elementary School with a pretty early lead through the first stretch and into the second leg of this race.
Yeah, Manoa in first, Coopertown in second, and I believe Chatham in third.
Coopertown trying to take this lead here from Manoa, trying to kick it in here through this third curve of the track. Second curve of the track, the third leg runner here for Coopertown.
Into the home stretch, we have the anchor from Manoa looking to secure the victory for Manoa. Coopertown in second, Chatham Park in third.
Ooh, close one here to wrap it up. We have Linwood and Chestnut fighting for that last spot. Does look like Chestnut will get it, and Linwood will be just behind. As we get more information on where we are in the meet, we will keep you guys updated as we go on in this annual elementary school track meet.
Another heat is underway. Runners come around the first turn. This appears to be an all-boys heat, but we have been jumping around a little bit.
Yeah, not consistent with the schedule, it seems, so far. But Chatham Park with a huge lead here. Manoa right behind, but Chatham Park's going to try to keep it into this third leg of this 4x100 meter relay. Manoa trying to gain back some lead as they go into the final runner. Chatham in first, Manoa in second, Chestnut in third, Linwood in fourth, Coopertown in fifth. Finally, a race here with all 5 schools having only one team in it, so it's truly a survival of the best teams here.
And in the final stretch, Chatham Park has a big lead, but really close call for second between Manoa and Chestnutwold. Wow, that really came down to the final second, and it is unclear to me who won that in second.
I think Chestnutwold pulled through there in lane 1, but extremely close, one of the closest we've seen so far today.
But another win for the Chatham Park Bulldogs. Another relay is underway. This one an all-girls relay.
Very confused on the format here. Sometimes it's co-ed, sometimes it's boys, sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's fourth, sometimes it's fifth grade. No one's really sure what is going on now, but we're just excited to be out here watching some competitive track.
Chatham Park has the lead midway through this third leg, but Manoa in second. Linwood following in third.
Chatham and Manoa are going to be battling this one out for first. We'll see what they can do. Looks like Manoa has it here coming up the final stretch. Chatham Park trailing right behind Manoa. Lengthening their strides as they finish up here will be Manoa, Chatham Park, Linwood.
Yeah, great comeback from Manoa. Came down to that handoff between the third and fourth legs, and the anchor of Manoa really closed it out for the Mustangs.
Another race here underway. We think that it is winding down slowly here as we see Coopertown out in front. Pretty close right now. Chestnut Chatham Park in second. Chestnut trying to hold that third ground, trying to build up, trying to gain second place. Linwood absolutely killing it here on the second leg, trying to just gain back some of that ground. All you need to do at this level of it.
Coming out of the second handoff, Coopertown is in first, but Chatham actually takes first as I say that. Chatham Park in first, followed by Coopertown. Third is a close call between Manoa and Chestnut.
Chatham showing up here in the later times here.
Oh, but we have Omi from Manoa. He will take the lead, and he will finish in first to beat out the Chatham Park anchor.
What a finish there from Omi. Just absolutely killing it on his final stretch. Going to beat out Dylan Hubley from Chatham Park. A huge run for Manoa. What a relay that one was.
Wow, Anaf Omi, just incredible. That was an incredible finish for Manoa. I mean, we knew he was going to be the anchor for Manoa at one of these relays, and we were just waiting for it to happen, but there you go. Enormous comeback. Chatham Park thought they had that one easily. I thought they did too, but Omi came out of nowhere, and wow.
What an advantage it is to be Manoa having Omi right there. Omi getting some love from other students outside of Manoa there. You got to just love that sportsmanship with the end of that insane run.
It looks like this next race will be another girls relay. Again, we do believe there are not too many events left, or not too many heats left, rather. We have been saying that for a little while now, but it does look like this meet is coming to a close.
And I do believe that was one of the actual races, as we see in the official roster list, that the 4x100 for the boys, their 5th grade, was Anaf Omi finishing it off for Manoa. Okay. We're almost to the end. Almost, Jim Jim. And as we get to the closing of this track meet here, one of the final races is underway. Manoa in the back calling for his teammate to get there so he can gain back some of that ground. Linwood with a big lead here in first place.
Yeah, so I apologize. This is a co-ed heat, not just a girls' heat. Entering into the third leg, we have Chatham Park in first. Second place is a close one, I believe, between Manoa and Chestnutwold. Or maybe that is Linwood and Chestnutwold. It's unclear from my angle.
Kicking it in the final stretch here. We'll see what these teams can do.
Really close one between Chatham and Chestnutwold. Chestnutwold takes the lead. Chestnutwold in first. It looks like Chestnutwold will close that one out, but really close in second is Chatham Park.
Good race there all around. Chatham Park with a strong finish, but not going to get that first place spot that they wanted.
So Chatham Park has been robbed twice now of a first place that they thought they had pretty handily.
This seems like could be whether either the last or the second to last here, as we see no more runners on the infield. The infield really cleared out. This could be the last race.
Very exciting if that is the case. It looks like this might be another co-ed relay.
I believe these could be the final co-ed relays that possibly count to the final team score.
And the runners are off for this final relay and final event of today's track meet. First handoff is complete. Entering into the second leg, we have Manoa in first, closely followed by Linwood in second. Coopertown in third.
Really close. Oh, and we see a runner trip and fall. Some other runners stopping to see what happens. That's the first major fall we've seen today. Hope that they're okay. But this will now be a 4-team race.
Yes, I believe that was Linwood, who is now out of the race. Unfortunate to see. But as we enter the final leg, it's still a close race.
Slight tumble there at the end, but other teams got to keep on pushing forward. That's Chatham Park in first. Chestnut in third now. Coopertown's going to pass him. Coopertown's going to try to get to first, but Chatham Park Bulldogs will get another first-place victory.
Very exciting finish there. A few lead changes just in those final few yards. I believe that ended up as Chatham Park in first, Coopertown in second, and Chestnut in third. But yeah, that last race, Connor, really came down to the final few yards. So I believe that concludes today's track meet. The field events ended a little while ago, and like we said, the 4x1 relay was the final of the 3 track events today. So we now await the official scores, official standings of the overall meet, but that may come in too late for our stream.
So we will make sure to post the results on our social medias, our Instagram and our Twitter at Haverford Sports Media once we get them. So they will take a little while to get processed here, but make sure to check them out. Look forward to the official results. Thank you guys for joining us here today at the 39th Annual Elementary School Track Meet.